carefulness. And so it is from a Buddhist perspective, we believe everyone has Buddha mind or the nature of mind. Everyone, our mind is potential to achieve all good qualities like compassion, loving kindness, altruistic mind, and finally will achieve enlightenment. But mind is very powerful. We have potential, but usually it is temporarily obscured, covered by disturbing emotions, afflictive emotions, or the negative emotions. So it is very difficult to see or to recognize this potential. So therefore, if we study texts like Shantideva text, so he himself like us first, and then he practiced and contemplating, and he started meditation, and eventually he himself became Bodhisattva and enlightened being. So we are taking an example from this great master, and so mind is very powerful. So therefore, as I mentioned before, it is temporarily covered by this disturbing emotions, afflictive emotions, negative emotions. So therefore, on the other hand, there are many antidotes to eliminate or to minimize, to subdue these disturbing emotions. So there are many different types of antidote, but the three most important antidote, which is carefulness and introspection and mindfulness. So if we practice these three consciousness or the introspection, mindfulness, we will decrease our energy of negative energy because mind is not permanent, it is nature mind changing, mind, when we talk about the Buddha mind, then it is nature mind, the Buddha mind beginningless, endless. But our individual mind, is not permanent. We will change. It depends on the circumstances. So if your individual mind is very familiar with your positive attitude like compassion, loving kindness, it will make your mind more gentler, more kinder, and also you become more happier. So it is possible, we will change our mind. But as I mentioned before, these enemies are very strong. So when we talk about the disturbing emotions, these enemies are inside our mind, not outside, because people believe that the enemies are outside. So when something happened to you, so your mind is because strongly thinking, the enemies are in outside conditions, not thinking, inside enemies. So these, when we talk about the afflictive emotions inside the mind, so therefore we need to apply antidote, which is carefulness, careful consciousness or introspection and mindfulness. So in order to do this, what we need is extremely important to have you need build a good foundation to increase or progress your path. We are looking, we are not looking temporary goal. We are looking ultimate goal. Which means our goal is to achieve lasting peace, happiness. Our goal is to achieve enlightenment. Our goal is to achieve nirvana. So it is. So the goal is enlightenment and nirvana. So when we go to achieve that, accomplish that goal, we need build good foundation of the virtuous qualities, which is any religious. We need faith. Faith, it is very important. Faith towards the teaching, whatever teaching, any religious faith is the most important to develop your virtuous qualities. So without faith, you won't achieve anything. So it is very important to have build the faith, because we are going to unknown path, which is unknown path is enlightenment, and nirvana we unknown. So we need somebody have, when you, for example, like when you go to some unknown place, you need guide. Will show you, exactly where should you go, what's the best way. It show you all this. Similarly, we are going to unknown path, which is enlightenment. So we need good teaching, good teacher, gurus, and authentic lineage of the teaching, and as well as teaching unbroken lineage from the Indian master, and master passed through all these Tibetan master. So therefore, so faith is very, very important. So here we are not talking about blind faith. We are talking about faith which is based on the valid reason. Which is faith is something. We have different types of faith. Faith, beginning faith, conviction faith, wishing faith. And from Buddhist perspective, faith toward the triple gem, understanding faith, law of causalities, faith of the Four Noble Truths, etc. So here, from beginning, it is very important to develop beginning faith, which is kind of like related to your karmic connection. This happens, sometimes. When we see some person, people say, I'm very connected with this person. I feel, he or she is. I'm very connected with this person. So when this kind of like karmic connection, past, you make karmic imprint, and you plant the karmic seed, karmic connection. Beginning is kind of like, and then this is kind of like, beginning faith is kind of like towards the teaching like that. This Shantideva text and all Indian masters and Buddhist text. So you develop some of faith, which because of your karmic connection, you feel, this is very suitable for me, to study, to think, and to practice this kind of religious. So then, but that is not enough, right? You need to analyze and examine, deeper levels of your, which is you are using, valid reason. You are not kind of like blind faith. You are using, I study this, I concentrate this, it's helping me, not only me, but helping to others. So I use all these, my method, my reason. So it's kind of like conviction is a deeper level of faith, which is based on the valid reason. This is something very firm, something very solid. On the basis of this conviction faith, then you will develop faith. Faith is the root. Faith is the foundation of all good qualities. So without faith, you won't be able to anything. Even, worldly perspective, people need faith, right? You need faith, materials and kind of like faith, and then people will put all their effort or energy to accomplish this kind of, your material wealth. So similarly, and so now when we have this, when we develop these three different kinds of faith, you will develop good foundations of the virtuous qualities, which is like in Tibet we say faith is just like mother, Mother, without mother, there's no child. No child, right? So mother, without mom, there's no child. When child born, in order to survive, you need mother taking care of the child, which is like if you have these three different types of faith, it will help you to protect your mind from the negative energy, afflictive emotion. It will help you to increase, all these are good qualities, which is like mother, taking care of the child. So without mom, no child. Even child born depends on the mom. Mother is helping child. So similarly, it is like faith is the root of virtuous qualities. Without faith, no virtuous qualities will develop. Faith is just like I can say, like it is just like road sign. When we go to the city, before we arrive the city, we see the sign, road sign, will tell you where you should go. When we go to the city like Brisbane, the road sign will show you which direction you should go. It is similar, something like that. Faith will tell you which direction. So we are talking about we are going to our direction. Goal is to achieve enlightenment. So this will tell you. It's just like road sign. It is just like something in Tibet said. It is just like two pairs of your feet. Without feet, you can't walk, right? You have two pairs of feet. If you're without feet, how can you walk? So similarly, faith is something like that. It's just like your hand, pick up objects, things. So in order to develop this conscientiousness, introspection, mindfulness, we need base, which is faith. Developing this kind of faith, like beginning faith, conviction faith, and wishing faith. Faith is just like seed. If there's no faith, just like burnt seed, how can you get a sprout with the burnt seed? Nothing, If you plant the burnt seed, you wouldn't be able to get a sprout, right? So it's just like seed. Beginning, it is just like seed. At the mid, it is just like that mature, that send you the shoot, shoot, and then finally, by nourishing, and it will give you blossom of the fruit or whatever, So it is just like seed. It is foundation of all our virtuous qualities. So in order to defeat this negative mind, it is not easy. So we need to build a good foundation, which is faith. Any religious need faith, right? No faith, nothing will come. On the basis of these three different types of faith, you will be able to defeat these enemies. When we talk about the enemy, we are talking about enemies of the negative, negative energy and negative mind, disturbing emotion. These are our enemy. These are enemies are within our mind, so not outside. So if you discipline the mind, if you use the carefulness, introspection, mindfulness, you will decrease. We will decrease this negative energy, or to minimize the negative energy, and change your attitude. So so it's mind nature, individual mind nature can change. It's not permanent. We will change the mind, but it depends on the circumstances and causes and conditions. So with this, text will explain you how to practice this consciousness, how to apply introspection, how to develop mindfulness. What's the best way to use this? When will we apply? What is the purpose of applying? So this will Shantideva text will explain all this, giving instruction. So we will read this text here. So here is today we are going to there is some which is the third part, which is taking care of to eliminate the mental afflictions, which I mentioned before. Mental afflictions as three divisions, considering the problems of mental afflictions, the reason why it is wrong to feel discouraged for any hardship one may have to put up during the process of eliminating the mental affliction, and the practicing the emotions of joy or that fact. Fact, should one make serious effort to eliminate them. The mental afflictions are really something that can be eliminated completely. As I mentioned, it is eliminated completely because it is temporarily. We will eliminate it because with this antidote, we will subdue them. The first of these divisions are three parts of the own, considering how the mental afflictions hurt us. It hurt us as well as hurting other people or the sentient beings. Reason why it is wrong to be tolerate the mental affliction, why we are tolerant, why we are patient for the mental afflictions, and the developing courage for the sake of destroying this mental affliction. So three. Now this number one is the considering how the mental afflictions hurt us. How hurt us. So there are four separate steps to the process of considering how the mental affliction hurt us. Thinking about how they leave us powerless. Number one. Number two, how they send us to unthinkable suffering. How much suffering mental afflictions bring us. And how they live. Then three is how the time that hurt us is infinite. And the number four is the reason why it is wrong to make friends with these mental afflictions. So we have four, right? So number one is so this is the how the mental affliction, thinking about how they leave us powerless. It is very clear that when we are peaceful, you are normal, you are not crazy, right? I'm crazy too. When mind is dominated by afflicted emotions like anger, jealousy, people do strange things. People say, oh, he's crazy, she's crazy, including myself too, okay? I'm crazy too. Right? So when the mind is this text, so he says, although enemies such as hatred and craving have neither any arms no legs, and are neither courageous nor wise. How have I, like a slave, been used by them? So this is the text. And now I will read the commentary on this. Commentary, it means our great enemies, like anger and desire and the rest, which incorporate all the primary and secondary mental afflictions. So we call the 6 root delusions and the 20 secondary mental afflictions. So are not some kind of creature with hands or legs. They could carry weapons on their hands or like. Neither are they great warrior full of energy or wily master who can find clever way to get what they want. So how did it happen that these mental afflictions have made me powerless, like I was their slave? So that means, you make powerless, right? So it means when I can give you one example, like when you are normal person, right? So when the mind is, dominated by anger, the other, then did you notice, you see all these people are red color, everything appears to you, you're red, you're very angry, anger, so this will up your, fire energy, right? Anger is kind of like fire energy. And then you see all these object appear red color. But it's illusion, it is not red color, right? But when anger subsides, normal, it is not red color, you're a normal person. You can communicate with other people or whatever. When you get angry, anger or other delusions, when the mind is dominated by afflictive emotions, you make lots of mistakes. You cannot judge. You cannot make decision. We have expression in Tibet that when you become angry, do not make decision. because you're not normal. If you make decision, you make mistake. You know what I mean? If you're normal, you make decision of what should do and what can I do, something like that. But if you are not normal, if you make decision, big problem, right? So that's why when the mind is dominated by these afflictive emotions like 6 root delusions, we talk about 6 root delusions and 20 secondary afflictive emotions, we become like slave. They dominate us. We have no choice. Like somebody control you. Somebody control your mind, and we have to follow. We have to listen the anger. We have to listen the jealousy. But this will not make you happy. So this is why Shantideva said, when we study texts like this, we will be very wise, and we will be able to distinguish between advantage and disadvantage of this afflictive emotions and negative mind, and you will make decision what direction I should go, because I don't want to suffer. Because right now I'm like slave of the mental afflictions. Now, if I practice, this Shantideva text with the mindfulness, with this conscientiousness, I will control the mental afflictions. So you switch off, change that attitude. You will control the mental afflictions. The mental affliction become your slave. Right now, afflictions We are like slaves of the mental afflictions. So this is the Shantideva text. So next is therefore next is here the second one. The mental afflictions live in my mind, right? And their absolute will hurt me and drag me into the suffering of low realms and other kinds of pain. It is completely wrong that I should tolerate them and not feel anger for them. My passion with them is disgrace. Therefore, I should see the mental affliction as my foe and make great effort to stop them. We should exhort ourselves in studying of the definition of mental afflictions, divisions and causes of the mental afflictions, function and other details of the mental affliction as presented in the treatise or the text on the higher knowledge. Most importantly, we think over and over again about the problem which the affliction bring to us. So here, this is the Shantideva text. For why they dwell within my mind and their pleasure, they cause me harm, yet patiently endure them without any anger, but this is an inappropriate and shameful time for patience. So here, other, like we have the definition of mental afflictions. What the definition is kind of what is the definition of mental afflictions? Mental affliction make you always disturb your mind. Afflictions, destroy your mind, disturb your peaceful, everything, bring you many unwanted pain, suffering, and something like that. And now function. What is the function? This is explained by in the text, right? There are 10 functions of these afflictive emotions. Number one is stabilize the root of delusions. So, root of delusions, afflictive emotions, ignorance. Through ignorance, anger, jealousy, pride, So this will going on and on, making more firm, stabilizing, and keep the stabilizing delusions, keep the continuity of the delusion. It will continue. So energy will bring you continue. Like for example, negative energy will continue today, tomorrow, next week, next month, go like that. It will carry, energy will dominate your mind. And your mind become like powerless with this energy. So for example, like if you are thinking more good energy, positive energy, like virtuous, so this energy also, carry like same, bring you good qualities. So number two, continuity of the number one is stabilize the root of delusions. Number two is continuity of the delusions. Number three is stabilize its own goal. So each afflicted emotions have different activities. For example, like when attachment arises, what do you feel? Right? Jealousy arises, or any have different affliction, have different activities. Depression, mind going down, energy of mind losing, so on, so on. So mental afflictions have their own different goals. And fourth is stabilized result similar to itself, right? So anger arises, what result will bring you? Jealousy arises, this is kind of like that. And fifth is it establish karmically linked existence. So it will plant the karmic seed. If you plant the good karmic seed, for example, when we talk about the faith towards the law of causality, so you believe good karma will bring happiness and the bad karma will bring unhappiness. Therefore, you contemplate and distinguish, and your mind go to the right direction. And it is treasure in own collection of the delusion. They will, from Buddhist perspective, we talk about 84,000 afflicted emotions. Buddha teach 84,000 kind you, 110 volumes. Thank you. All Indian master takes 212 volumes. And then the Sungbum, which is the all Indian master, great master, the Tibetan master, like Lama Tsongkhapa, Nyingma, Kagyu, all Sungbum is composed based on Kagyu and Tengyu. And so all this, because we have delusion and attitude, different type of attitude. It makes number 7 is it makes its object unclear, So when delusion arises, object unclear, it leads to the continuance of the confusion, So when deluded mind confused and doubt, and you don't know where you should go, you don't know what should I do, you don't know which is right, which is wrong, which is good, which is bad. You can't make decision, where should I go, this way or that way. Confusion arises, doubt, suspicions, and mind become like cloudy mind, cloudy mind. So cloudy mind cannot make decisions, because mind is cloudy. So if cloudy, we cannot see the sky, blue sky, right? Sky is always there, mind becomes unclear and make more confusion. And it misdirect oneself from the wholesome activities. So people, and it multiplies as a binding force without transcending the delusions realm. So this is 10 activities of the delusion. So the point here is, Shandada was saying, we should not make patience with the delusions. Because if we are patient with delusions, they will cause us more and more pain, more and more suffering. They will dominate us. Negative mind will dominate us. So what we have to do is, we have to first, we cannot completely defeat the negative. It is impossible. Right? It is kind of a gradual, process. It is slowly, gradually, we will be able to subdue, because the mind nature is changing. It's not permanent. It depends on your. If you're very familiar with it is just like people go to the gymnastic. They go to the gym every day, flexible. Used to be. So it is physical training. Mind training is similar. Mind training is kind of like beginning, middle, and the end. What should you do? What do you need in the beginning? Middle, on the process of path, what you need, what instruction. Finally, goal, you know. I mean, how can I put and make effort to achieve that goal, you know. So this is kind of something like that, you know. So that's the I may leave there. Any questions?
So afflictive emotions, like sometimes the propensity behind them might be grounded in, depending on your intention, it might be grounded in some, I guess, good basis, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you can get very, you know, for instance, if something's happening that's really unjust or something, you can get, you know, defensive or whatever. Is that possible? Like, is it possible that afflictive emotions can have any basis of realistic, you know, good intent?
Afflictive emotions are based on the mistaken mind. So you know what I mean? Mistaken mind, right? Because the mistaken mind, so base is no good, but powerful, you know. So the base of mistaken mind is not valid reason, right? So no matter how powerful, doesn't matter. The base is invalid. Base is kind of like our exaggerating. Any afflictive emotion, base is mistaken, right? It's not good. I think you are talking about renunciation, then not afflictive emotions, right? So suffering, you know, we talk about suffering, you know, then if you think about the samsara, you know, then with this suffering lead you to develop renunciation. I mean, you put effort how to renounce from this pain and suffering. You know. So, but generally speaking, all afflictive emotions are based on mistaken mind, which is ignorance, mistaken mind, right? So, but mistaken mind, because the base of mistaken and invalid, no matter how powerful, doesn't matter. You know, even the valid mind is our valid, our valid mind, like compassion, loving kindness, the base of valid mind. Even tiny will eventually destroy this mistaken mind because peace is no good. You know what I mean? This is why people maybe discourage it. Oh, how can me possible to decrease? But if you think about the base is no good. No base is no valid reason, no valid proof. If the base is not valid proof, if you use just tiny valid mind, it's much more powerful, you know what I mean? Because right now you think my valid mind is powerless, you know. Invalid mind is kind of like very powerful, like delusion, afflictive emotion. They are very powerful, right? It seems to be like your valid mind is powerless, but not. You know, base. One is based on invalid reason, the one is based on valid reason. So the finally valid mind or valid reason will defeat, right? It depends on it. So it is something like that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think so. Yeah. I guess maybe I'm just my interpretation of afflictive is more, you know, being just that reactionary, you know.
Can arise quite subtly, and then they eventually become strongly afflictive or strongly disturbing and become the basis for unsound decisions.
Yeah.
What do you identify as a good technique to identify those afflictive emotions in their subtle form so that it can be cut off at the seed rather than the fruit?
This is as I mentioned before, like conscious in your daily life. If you apply consciousness, introspection, mindfulness, you will make those mind more and more powerless, like powerless. Eventually mind become powerless, then you will use antidote like wisdom, like understanding realities. And eventually you will destroy the seed, when we seed of the negative negative mind. So if our daily life we are very conscientious and apply these three, introspection, mindfulness, we will make afflictive emotions weaker and weaker. For example, like if you are applying introspection, conscientiousness, and mindfulness constantly, 1 week, antidote to the delusion, you will make less energy, like that, go like that.
Yes, does
Yeah.
appearance and emptiness act as an antidote to afflictive emotions?
Yeah, all emptiness is antidote to all afflictive.
So they're self-liberated as soon as we view them.
Yeah, if we apply emptiness, emptiness mind is antidote to all, because it is antidote to the fundamental ignorance. The fundamental ignorance is the root of all delusions. Just like tree, we need a root and the branches will grow. Each year more and more branches. Similar root planted by ignorance, the branch, all those, delusions, anger, jealousy, 20 afflictive emotions, 84,000 delusions will grow because root is fundamental ignorance. So when we apply antidote, emptiness, it will cut the root. The branch will not grow right. For example, like if you cut the tree from the root, branch will not grow. If you cut tree, not root but cutting branches, it will grow anywhere, doesn't matter. Right? So similar, right? So it is antidote to the whole afflictive emotion. Okay, thank you very much.